Wilson Morales from Black Women TV, talking to Antoine and Jay Jay, who are part of this documentary called Generation Impact, the CODER. Obviously, I've read it, your stories. It's, it's inspired a lot of people, but here you guys are live and in person. So talk to me how this thing got started and how you got all this visibility that we're talking.
Right, yeah. Well, I'm Antoine, and this is my young daughter, Jay Jay. And yeah, we're just a daddy-daughter duo out I guess, just committed to our passion. And the more we show it, the more people just receive it. So yeah, it kind of starts with just my story and getting into some trouble back in 2008. And that led to me going to prison. And what seemed like it could have just been like, a really, really bad thing. Just try to flip it upside down and make something positive out of it and try to make an impact. So, they say you go to prison and you pay your debt to society that way, but I was like, that was not enough. I want to figure out other ways to make a real impact in this world. And one of those things was just through education. So I just started really focusing on bettering myself and my mindset. And one thing that really helped was learning how to code while in prison. I had access to some computers because I was in a college program, and I took advantage of those computers and started teaching myself how to code. And that alongside of, my personal relationship with my family, trying to stay in touch with them, that those two things kind of merged for me. I was like, what, how can I use this new skill of coding and learn about technology to make it easier for myself or other people in prison to also communicate with each other. So I started by just building this simple website that allowed family members to upload photos and letters like you would do on Facebook. Just upload a message and attach a photo to it. And yeah, and the goal was just to be able to use that to connect family members together. So it was a really simple concept, but something that wasn't around, something that wasn't useful, that wasn't around being used or implemented. So it was crazy that I was the first one to build it. And when I was released from prison, I actually turned it into a nonprofit 501c3 organization, and ended up getting some help from my daughter here as well.
Okay, JJ, how old were you when you started getting involved? Obviously, your dad's in prison, but when did you learn to start, when did your technical skills come into play?
Yeah, my technical skills came obviously after he came home from looking at him and just being inspired and wanting to see what he was doing. So I was 10 years old when I first learned how to code. My dad taught me, and I thought it would be like a really cool skill to learn because I seen him doing it. So I just figured, why not do it?
And then you got the organization, you started it up, and then your daughter's helping you inside. But when did it really take off? First of all, how long were you in prison for?
7 years.
7 years. Okay, so you put it, so you had 7 years. So when did you start learning to code?
Yeah, maybe about three or 4 years in. Yep.
So basically, you were
2011.
So you were in prison and already coded for 4 years before you got out.
Yes, exactly.
And then you started your business, and kids are always around parents, learning what they do. And she took it off, and she took off.
Right.
And then when did it start getting visibility where people started to talk and wanted to talk to you about your story?
I would say I'm gonna pass that part to JJ. Once she built the mobile app, like that's when things really, because we just had a website before, but once she built the mobile app, it kind of really exploded.
How did you go about building this mobile app at a young age, and then making it happen? I know people could do things from home, but tell me your story.
Yeah, so basically, the app was just always something that we needed. It's something that everybody talked about, but it's always a lot of different stuff going on. So I had just learned how to like really code, and I needed something to, test my skills out on. And then I just was like, it would be really cool to try to build the app because it's something we need. It'll be way more convenient, and I know like kids out here, need this. And I just learned this cool skill. So why not merge the two ideas and just really try to make this app. And that's what happened. I ended up really getting into it, and I built it out in a couple of months, and then showed it to everyone. They loved it, and we ended up actually being able to get it published and out there for people to use. And then from there, it just kind of took off.
Now, when you say everyone, like who's the person that really said this is something good? Well, let me introduce you to some people. Let's get this thing going.
My dad.
Okay. So once you believed her and took her seriously enough to like, oh, this thing really works, who's the person you called to get it going?
Well, what I did was I took advantage of the power of social media. And, actually, JJ and I sat down together and we made a list of like what big platforms we wanted to be on.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of funny. The first one on the list was Steve Harvey. And we were like, hey, it would be cool to be on the Steve Harvey show with this and the Ellen show and a couple other celebrities to shout us out or something like that. So we made this list. And then I went to my social media, which was getting pretty big because I teach people how to code as well. And so I got a pretty big following from that. So I was like, hey, everybody just tag Steve Harvey and let him see what this young girl is doing. She's 12 years old at the time, and she built this amazing piece of software. People should be talking about this. So within like 24 hours of us posting that and telling people to tag him, we heard something from his team, and that was really cool. Within a month, we was on his show, and then that just turned into more and more media highlights after that.
And where are we now? Do you have a full big company? Do you have a staff? You're still teaching people. Where are we?
Yeah. Yep.
All of the above.
All of the above. Yeah, we've hired a bunch of people over the last couple years to help us teach, to help people get into the tech industry. We have a cool team helping us with updates for the new app that's going to be coming out for Photo Patch. So it's two separate companies. Unlock Academy is where we teach people how to code, and then Photo Patch is where our nonprofit is, where we use this app to keep families communicated and connected.
Mm-hmm. Now, with the photo app, have you like broke it, expanded it, obviously, so that it goes to not just prisons, but everywhere else around the world, that people could share this?
Not yet. It's on our roadmap for sure, but it's just that prison is such a huge thing. It's really big. It's 2 million kids in the nation alone who need help, who have a mom or dad in prison. So it's like trying to like reach out to them is first, and as we help all of them, then we'll be able to expand and help other people, like people overseas in the Marines or something like that, or nursing homes. We have other ideas as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, JJ, technology is always changing. It's like what you learned 3 years ago is probably, you never know, obsolete. How do you keep up with what's going on in the world in terms of technology? Like you obviously have put this together, but obviously, as I said before, you never know. Today's news is yesterday's. and so how do you stay up and ahead of the game?
Right. Just staying on top of it and learning new things and always doing research. That's why it's great to have my dad by my side, because he's like way more advanced than me, and he knows a lot of stuff, and he knows what's new and like, what's good. So it's great to have him as my teacher, because it's like a teacher. A teacher's always teaching you new things. You go to the next grade and you learn something higher than what you learned last year. And that's what my dad is for me. He's my teacher. So it's able to keep me in a good space to always keeping up with technology.
And what about you, Antoine? Obviously, how are you still learning? Obviously, you're out now. Have you met like other coders, and are you learning from them to basically make your skills much more bigger?
For sure. Yeah, networking is important to know what's going on. Staying abreast with blogs and podcasts. Just like we're avid learners. That's it. We're just students of the game, students of this industry. Like you said, things change so quick. So we're just staying on top of it.
Mm-hmm. But this is an interesting story because obviously, it's a father-daughter, and it's a short, but when people see this, and obviously your story's been told now for some time, what do you want them to get out of this? As far as hearing your story and seeing the accomplishments both of you have made.
One of our biggest mantras is like, if we can do it, you can do it.
Right.
that's really big. That's what we set out to do, is we help people unlock what's inside of them, because our target audience are people who don't believe, people who think that, you know, you have to be a certain type of person to get into this industry or to build something cool. So our whole mantra is just like, if we can do it, you can do it as well. And that starts by believing in yourself, by getting around the right team, what we call the right tribe, and having that support system, people who believe in you and show you that you don't have to be a specific type of person or a nerdy kind of person or have a big extensive background in mathematics. You can still do it.
Yeah, and it's not even about color or race. You know,
Right.
it's
Hmm.
just about your circumstances and your daughter, father and a daughter. Doesn't matter about what color, what race, what ethnicity. You know, it's a simple story. You know, and so um, when I think about it now, when you think about the pandemic, you know, did your business grow during the pandemic? Because we were all home, and you know, we have nothing but our computer. Our computer became our best friend. You know, because it
Right.
was the only way to communicate, just like we can do now. And during the Zoom thing, you know, I'm sure there are a lot of people that had to pivot, you know, their careers and try something new for those who couldn't go to work. You know, and did your business grow? Because you're able to teach people online and so forth.
It did.
Definitely.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It was a blessing for sure for us in disguise. At first, it was like our first couple months, we were trying to figure out, just like everybody else, like what's happening with the world, what's about to happen. But once things started kind of settling, we realized that online education was a big thing for people. People really was like, hey, I need to learn new skills, because a lot of stuff that they knew before or were doing wasn't essential, and you know, jobs got shut down. So they come to find out, tech is an essential skill. You know, you could do it from anywhere. Working remote has been a big blessing for us. So it definitely helped us out in a major way. Same thing with photo patch, with prisons shutting down and, you know, no contact visits. It was easy for people to now say, you know what, I'm gonna have to communicate through this mobile app called photo patch. So we got a lot more downloads throughout the pandemic.
Hmm. And JJ, are you in school now? Are you still in school?
I am homeschooled, so I'm still in school, but I'm homeschooled.
Okay. What grade are you in, or what grade are you going to? Yeah, that of
Going
school.
in, all right. I'm going into the 11th grade. I'm in high school
Okay. And I'm sure, you know, have you been reached out for colleges? You know, is that the game plan? It's, you know, to go to college, hopefully, and if that's what you want to do, or just, you know, build your own business since you got it going now.
now. Yeah, that's definitely something that I like haven't all the way like made a decision about. I feel like I'm still young and I still have time. And I don't want to like put myself in a box right now and make a decision right now and then it comes at a time and be like, I actually changed my mind, but like the plan's already set. So I'm still like learning and growing and like figuring out with everything right now. So I feel like as years go on, I'll be sure like, oh, this is what I really want to do.
Mhm. Well, you know, this is an amazing story. Obviously, you know, we're going to keep telling you stories because, you know, both apps are growing, and you know, this is what we need. You know, we need, and the fact that you guys are people of color is great because we need to find the next success story. You know, and you already have it, and we just gotta. I think there are a lot more people out there. It's just a matter of getting their stories told. It's always about the visibility.
Yeah.
So, you know, I appreciate you guys taking the time talking to me. We're gonna get the story out obviously at some point, whether you're in New York or anywhere else, maybe we'll meet. You know, we don't
Yeah.
know, but either way, we have this app where we can see each other and talk, and that's good enough for me. So whatever you guys do throughout the day, stay safe, have fun, and we'll talk down the road, hopefully.
Okay.
Yes, thank
Thank you,
you.
Wilson. Appreciate you
Take
so much,
care.
sir.